we have some news, lots of it, but we're going to digest it into a smallish segment as much as we can. First of all, we want to say a massive thank you to every single person who has listened to our podcast or been a subscriber on our YouTube. We hit 100 subscribers on YouTube this week, and we've hit 2,000 listens on our podcast. We are extremely, extremely grateful for all of you and all of your time. And it's just in time for next week when we have our first year anniversary. So GG's, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much thank you guys so much for just sticking with us. It's just a bit awkward because obviously next episode's what number, isn't it number 49 or 50 next one? But obviously it should be number 52. But obviously we had a couple of missteps at that time. I mean, is it technically our anniversary next week, or is it going to be?
I think if we go by a year,
yeah, okay, yeah. So it's next week then. But GG,
we can have two anniversaries. Look at it this way: we can have the year, and then we can have 50 podcasts, everyone. So we'll milk it for 3 weeks.
In a year. There's 52 weeks in a year, not 50.
Bite me. I was just going with we've hit this episode 50. Leave me alone.
You're not my dad.
I'm tired. The other news, I think we discussed this a little bit last week.
We discussed all of it. This was before last week's pod. I don't know why it's still in it.
Yeah, I think it was 100% confirmed, wasn't it? Ty Dillinger, TJP, Hideo Itami, all officially released. Ty Dillinger did it by Twitter. He's also recently changed his name to his old indie wrestler's name. TJP, I think there's a little bit of extra behind it. There's a lot of murmurings on Twitter saying that it wasn't mutual.
It was for disciplinary reasons, allegedly disciplinary reasons. So I've been drinking tonight, so I might slur a little bit. I do apologise.
Excellent. Yes. And then obviously Kenta for reasons. Arn Anderson was also let go from his producer role by WWE. That was from Pro Wrestling Sheets. In the midst of all this, we then had Bruce Pritchard re-signed by WWE to be head of creative, working directly with Vince McMahon on creative matters. That was from the PW Insider.
He signed before Monday. If he was involved in this week's wrestling, can we have him back forever, please?
I totally echo that. On certain things, we'll get to it. Nick Miller, who was one half of the tag team in NXT TM61, who were later then called the Mighty, was granted his release in December. He's now officially joined New Japan Pro Wrestling. Will work with Chaos. He's now under the name of Mad Mikey Nichols. This came from his own individual Twitter and Rocky Romero. Rocky Romero is quite a good head. I think he's part of talent relations or something, I think, within New Japan. Don't quote me on it, but I think he's involved in some way. Honky Tonk Man, obviously we've already mentioned him earlier tonight, is inducted into the Hall of Fame. Thoughts?
I mean, it was all before I was watching wrestling. I mean, he left the WWE and then came back, and it was still before I was watching wrestling. So I don't really know much about him. Bearing in mind he has an Intercontinental title record, I assume he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he was a very entertaining fellow. He was the Elvis-style character, came up with a guitar, pretty much like Elias now, but very different in terms of style. Like I said earlier, the only kind of exposure that I had to him was he turned up into a Royal Rumble. I think this was
it's probably in WrestleMania 17 gimmick battle royale or something. I think he was in that.
No, it wasn't a gimmick battle royale. He actually came out with his guitar, and I think that was the Rumble where they brought in loads of weapons. And I think he started it with his guitar. I can't remember. It's been a long time. I was 12 when I watched that.
Yeah, well, I have no real sort of exposure to Honky Tonk Man in any way. He was. I don't really know what to say because obviously I don't have much in terms of WWE history, as you clearly heard in the podcast earlier on in the quiz. But it's hard to not recognise his contribution to the business. So yeah, by all means, I've got no problem with it.
Yeah, I've got definitely no problems with it. NXT UK have signed 5 more wrestlers to these exclusive contracts. Arya Rakoba, also known as Alia Dragunov, Kaylee Ray, who I think we might have talked about last week. I can't remember. A lot has happened in a week.
Yeah.
Jazzy, I think it's Gabert.
Jazzy Gabbert. She's very, very good.
I think she's been in the Mae Young Classic, hasn't she?
She was, yeah. Then she had severe neck injury.
So was Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray was in the first Mae Young as well.
Yeah. Then Oliver Sauter, is it? I can't say that name. I've never heard of that person. And Jay Melrose, also known as Primate.
Oh, Primate. Sweet.
I was really confused about this, and I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast previously, but I have I mentioned it in the DMs, and I remember something happening in Defiant. He broke his jaw so badly that he had to have literally a new kind of pins to keep his jaw together. He couldn't really speak. He was like you know when you speak through your teeth like this.
Yeah, they wire it shut when you have a bad jaw break.
Yeah, so it was so bad that they wired it shut, and they kind of recommended that he wasn't going to wrestle again. He then became Defiant general manager. The time when before Stu Bennett came, I think.
Okay.
And then there was a storyline where he was reinstated and could wrestle again, and then now he's in NXT UK. I remember seeing him in a tag team match with Wild Boar Mike Hitchman on NXT UK months back, and was like, hang on, that's Primate, what's he doing here? I thought he was retired. And then that's when I kept bombarding the Twitter DMs to these guys going, I don't understand what's going on in the world, but wrestling, it happens. Outside of WWE, we've had more AEW announcements. They've got a partnership with Culture City, which are helping with events in terms of those people who have sensory difficulties, so autism, etc., which is a great partnership to be a part of. And Double or Nothing, I believe, is going to be the event that they're going to.
That is a fantastic idea.
Definitely.
They said they were going to change the game. This was totally not expected. And I think it raises the bar in a lot of other areas that you wouldn't necessarily think. And I think it's I could float that to people, and they'd be well up for that. In that position, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think we sent it to Kev Lujo. People obviously know Kev if you've followed him anywhere else or knew us through him. He's obviously a big campaigner for autism because of his son, and he thought it was the best idea ever. He's really on board with it, and maybe could help him in the future if it filters over here, which is great. The other AEW news is the new Double or Nothing video came out, or Road to Double or Nothing video came out this week, and Bea Priestley, the girlfriend of my bae Will Ospreay, is going to be in the women's division of AEW, and I think this is amazing. That's 3 British or part of British wrestling talent being taken over to AEW, and I said it last week, and I'm going to keep saying it. They're tapping into everything to make it the best wrestling they can make. This also makes me think Will Ospreay's going to go.
Maybe on a part-time contract similar to what Kenny Omega has, or something like that.
Yeah.
Kevin Omega.
That's what I thought.
What's Kevin Alpha doing at the Impact Arena?
They've bought a house, and I know because obviously I follow William a lot on Instagram and stuff like that. I don't stalk him. Don't worry. I don't just drive down to Essex every now and then. But I know from looking through his
window,
Twitter and his. Did you just say window?
Yes.
From his Instagram that they recently bought a house not long ago. They are wanting to set up something in New Zealand eventually, but you're not going to kind of split that. You don't want to have one who's going to be not freelance, but you know what I mean, who's going to travel the world.
Independent.
Yes, contract. Independent. And have Bea with AEW. So I do have a feeling that's going to happen. And then finally, anybody who likes New Japan like me, David Finlay is out of the New Japan Cup after a dislocated shoulder.